It is good to be back in the saddle again. This is Frank Rock. This is still the house of Orange Sports Channel. Tennessee basketball gets its second commitment of 2025 tonight from a small forward. And when I get into this and I'll talk about the comparisons of this guy, it's going to sound really familiar to a couple guys who are currently on this roster. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for your patience. Been out of the game for a week. Had some things going on that just need to do. And, it's a good time to get away, a good time to kind of refresh a little bit because this thing is about to blow up with football still going on, still the last third of the schedule going on. Basketball starts Monday night. Lady Vols basketball starts Tuesday night. This thing's going to be wide open going forward. Tennessee basketball, Rick Barnes and staff get their second commitment tonight for 2025 from 4-star, depending on the site you look at, whether it's On3 or 24/7, either the number 80 player or the number 83 player. But the consensus in a 4-star player in Amari Evans, 6'5", small forward out of Georgia. And, talking about that, and I said there's going to be some familiar comparisons with him. He did play on the same AAU team as Zakai Ziegler. His comparison is to a guy currently on the team. If you're a Tennessee basketball fan, a true Tennessee basketball fan, you love this guy. His comparison is Jahmai Mashack. His defensive game is, he's said to be one of the best high school defenders in the whole country. The difference between Amari Evans and Jahmai Mashack is Evans is supposed to be better offensively at this point than Jahmai Mashack was. Now, if you watched any of the scrimmage last week, it looks like Jahmai Mashack, and I said it last year on here, Jahmai Mashack is a better offensive player than he's given credit for. It's just not his role. But we're talking about Amari Evans here. Second commitment of the 2025 cycle to go along with Dwayne Brown out of Alabama. And based on what you read on Tennessee basketball recruiting, it is potential. There's some bigger fish coming. Not that these aren't good that they have now. Don't get me wrong on that. I don't mean anything negative by it. But Tennessee's in on some big-time players with it. But the scouting report, according to On3, says Evans is a big, versatile wing who will remind a lot of fans a great deal of Jahmai Mashack from a physical standpoint. A lot of the same things. His perimeter defense is excellent. His frame, his strength, and says he can play that small ball for four-spot role on the team. And here's the thing to keep in mind with Tennessee basketball. They're going to lose a lot of guys after this season. So there's a lot of opportunity. Really, the only guys that you have coming back, theoretically, you have, let me think, Boswell, you have Cade Phillips, you have JP Estrella, you have Felix Okpara, you have Cam Carr. That's really off the top of my head the only guys I know coming back, because Igor is a senior, Dubar is a senior, Chaz Lanier is a senior, Zakai Ziegler's a senior, Jahmai Mashack is a senior as well. And I'm thinking there's one more that I'm forgetting right here off the top of my head. But Tennessee basketball is going to have a lot of open positions. You got to think the current team, they did not use all of their scholarships for this cycle. So they're going to add a lot of guys from the high school ranks. They're also going to be adding through the portal as well. That's Rick Barnes' game at this point. My question with Rick Barnes and staff is, can they still get it done at the high school level? They've got two pretty good commitments for his 2025 cycle. Can they close the door, though, with these top 10 to top 20 players? That's going to be the key. NIL is going to be a factor in that. Isaiah Dennis, a top 50 guard out of North Carolina, announces tomorrow. It was said that Tennessee was in on him. From what I've read today, it's more than likely going to be Wake Forest, possibly North Carolina, but it doesn't seem, where at one point, depending on where you read it, I'd read Tennessee was in pretty good shape there because he did visit. It was one of the week, I can't remember if it was the Florida game, the Kent State game that he was on campus, but it was believed Tennessee was in good shape. I'm not sure that I saw Rob Lewis, VolQuest.com today. He said it's a guess. It's a speculation that he thinks NIL may be an issue in that recruitment. But who's to know? Tennessee's still deep into the recruitments of Chris Senack, top 5 center out of Louisiana, and Nate Ament out of Virginia. Rick Barnes and staff are up there to watch him play this weekend. And then there are more. So I think it's going to be a nice high school recruiting, probably a good possibility of a top 10 class for Tennessee basketball. And you need that. And, I still think you got to be able to sell these one and done guys. And I don't think Tennessee's had a lot of success with them recently in terms of, you had Keon Johnson, Jaden Springer, who got drafted early, but then you had Kennedy Chandler, who fell to the second round, who's bouncing around. Julian Phillips fell to the second round. Roy didn't have a lot of success, especially late in the year at Tennessee. More of his success was earlier on with it. At some point with Tennessee, if you're going to do it, you've got to hit on these one and done guys. And Tennessee is in on some of those as well. Caleb Wilson, where does it come down to as well? But talking about Amari Evans, I got off track and I apologize on that. Says he is a better shooter than Meshack at this stage. Strong frame, lengthy at 6'5". Says he has a college-ready frame. It says Evans has a clear path to becoming a 3-and-D threat, according to Jamie Shaw of On3 Sports. Says he's able to guard both guard positions and slide up in the lineup to switch on the forwards as well. His defense is top-notch. His offense is pretty solid, it seemed like. Says he's got a good motor, a lot of energy. This is a prototypical Rick Barnes type of guy at Tennessee. Perfect for his system. That's why it fits. That's why it works with it. So you got to think this guy will be one that will do a lot. And at Tennessee, he'll be a guy, who's to say out of the gate, but Evans will have some real opportunity. Again, he joins Dwayne Brown, who, according to On3, is ranked the number 102 player in the nation. If you look at 24/7, their analysis is pretty similar. They've got him at number 80. Now, he is out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He plays for Overtime Elite out of Atlanta. So it's and like I said, he has played with the same AAU program as Zakai Ziegler. So there have been some similarities there in terms of their work ethic, how they play. Evans himself is quoted on 24/7 saying, "I'm a hard worker, I'm tough, I'll do anything to win, and I'm reliable. High-level defender and a knockdown shooter with an unlimited motor." That's Tennessee basketball. That's what you're looking at right there. If this guy does not say Rick Barnes commit, I don't know who does. I mentioned Jemai Meshack. According to 24/7, it says the pro comparison is Josh Hart. I'm not sure. Last I knew, Josh Hart was with the Knicks. I know he started out with the Lakers. Maybe it was Portland. I can't remember where he's at now. He has bounced a little bit, but he's a pretty solid NBA player. And said, think Josh Hart, a guy that scores better than people think and possesses all the intangibles of a winning player. You don't have to get all impact 25-point scores per game. You need these type guys, a guy who can hit the shots when needed, who can play defense. You hear that comparison a lot in the NBA in the draft, a 3-and-D guy. That's what you want. That's what you want. I love this commitment for Tennessee. And again, with roster space, so many roster spots available, these are the type guys you want to add to the fold. And again, Tennessee's in on Nate Ament, Caleb Wilson. They've had them on campus, and Chris Senack. Tennessee's at all three of them on campus. The big one left is 5-star guard Braden Burries out of California. He is slated to visit, says next month. And here's the connection with that one. He's out of California. Yeah, it may seem like a long way to go. His mom played softball for the Lady Vols. From what I've read, depending on where it's at, Ben McKee, 24/7, says, in his opinion, he thinks if Burries comes to campus, Tennessee's the favorite for him. So, we'll see. We'll see. You got to get there first. And same could be said for football as well with others. And then Chance Mallory. I did a video a long time back on this dude. and he decommitted from Virginia after Tony Bennett retired. And Tennessee is apparently thinking about this one again. I looked at that video and I showed a lot of that. That's been a while back since I did that one on Chance Mallory. I like this dude's game. I really do. I think he would fit very well in Knoxville. And I hope this one works out because I feel like he's another Jemai Mashak in terms of how he shoots, how he defends, how he plays the game. He is a shorter, smaller type guy, but he's a dude can play some basketball. So I'm hoping this one does work out to where Tennessee's able to get back in this one, possibly even get him in the fold. We'll see how that one goes. But I'm going to wrap up on that one, guys. The plan is, it's going to be busy. It is on right now on this channel. I'm fired up about it. Tomorrow night, Tennessee, Kentucky, late game. I'm planning on going live with you. I'll probably be flying solos. Both the other guys that contribute on here are tied up. Mark Carey will be at the game. Backwoods, he's tied up. Monday night, Tennessee season opener against Gardner-Webb. We'll be live on here directly after the game. Tuesday night, Lady Vols season opener. I'll be live. I don't know if the other guys will join or not, but I'll be live directly after that game. Tennessee basketball, I know they started last Sunday against Indiana, had a little bit of a rough start. It's a scrimmage, guys. I know Rick Barnes probably wanted to win that basketball game, but at the same time, there was a lot of things to work on from that one. I don't think there's anything to be discouraged on that. Lady Vols last night, my goodness. My goodness. I got to get some content on that one. They were unbelievable. If that's a sign of things to come, I know it's Carson Newman. I get it. I know it. That's an exciting brand of basketball. And these ladies they brought in from the portal. It's going to be fun times this year. It's on Rocky Top. Old Frank is back in the game. I hope you'll tune in. I hope you'll stay with me on this. Have a great rest of your evening. Last but most certainly not least, go Vols.